Alright, so this is a suggestion via a donation. The name of the video is Pirates accidentally went after a military vessel instead of a commercial one. Well, that was foolish of you. Let's get it, guys.
The French tanker Le Somme was conducting routine patrol work in the Indian Ocean in late 2009 as part of the European effort to appease piracy in the region. Armed to the teeth and with a complement of 162 sailors, the imposing flagship had nothing to fear in the disputed waters off the African Horn. And yet, one fateful evening,
African Horn, like Somalia.
Happened. Two tiny motorized boats, manned by a handful of troublemakers, dared to open fire on the mighty French tanker. Swiftly, the crew of Le Somme put the pirates to shame and promptly resumed their operations. While anyone would assume the pirates would have learned not to mess with the warship, as documented in a series of pictures posted online, in 2010, Le Somme was assaulted once more.
Bro, like, does the ship look like a random transport vessel, or does it look like a military vessel? Maybe we should at least be shown a much larger image of the ship so we can kind of grasp it. If so, bro, if it looks like a commercial vehicle, I get it. They're going to keep doing it, right? But unless they're just that foolish. Unless they're that foolish. And they may be, guys, to be honest. It's all tomfoolery.
Treacherous waters. As one of the world's busiest maritime trade routes, the waters off Somalia are not strangers to international frictions. But the situation escalated around the year 2000 when the area became infested by pirates. For decades, the country was in a state of lawlessness, torn apart by factional fighting and political instability. But it was the pirates that captured the world's attention with their brazen attacks on ships that passed through their territory. These pirates operate from several ports along the Indian Ocean and Gulf of Aden coasts, striking fear in the hearts of sailors and shipping companies alike. The situation became so dire that the world's naval powers had to deploy dozens of warships to patrol the waters off Somalia in an effort to curb the attacks. Despite these efforts, the pirates not only continued to strike, but actually increased their frequency and audacity. In 2008 alone, there were 111 attacks, although only 42 of them led to successful hijackings. And the numbers continued to climb. In January and February 2009, the rate of attacks was approximately 10 times higher than during the same period the previous year. By March,
okay, guys, really quickly,
approximately 10 times higher.
All right, so this definitely looks like a warship, guys. Completely. Like, this is not a commercial vessel. What are you doing in your tiny skiff, bro? Firstly, why are you so far away from land in this tiny skiff? You just don't care about life. Well, I guess you don't care about life if you're honestly attempting to pilfer something from this gigantic ship here, guys. Right? It definitely looks like it has a gigantic gun on the front of it also.
And during the same period the previous year. By March, there were almost daily attacks, amounting to 79 events before April ended. But it wasn't just the sheer volume of attacks that was alarming. The pirates also expanded their range, striking as far south as the coast of Kenya in the Indian Ocean. Towards the end of the year, a couple of skiffs attempted what first seemed to be a straightforward attack on a cargo ship. By the time they realized it wasn't a commercial ship, but rather the French Navy's flagship, Le Somme, and tried to escape,
it was too late. Right. It was too late. Or just stop doing
the flagship.
You know.
Le Somme is the fifth and final ship of the Durance class of French replenishment tankers built in the late 1980s.
Okay.
She entered service in 1990 for the primary role of fleet tanker, but she was also configured as a flagship, thus enabling her to accommodate an entire general staff and supervise naval operations as a command ship. The 7,900-ton ship is armed by a Bofors 40mm L-60 anti-aircraft gun in a single gun turret, 4 12.7mm M2 Browning machine guns, and 3 launchers for Sinbad Mistral surface-to-air missiles. Additionally,
and you got close to the ship in your skiff.
Le Somme has a flight deck for Aerospatiale Alouette 3 and Westland Lynx helicopters, as well as some larger types. As for her complement, it includes 162 crew members, but she is capable of accommodating 250 personnel. After entering service, Le Somme was assigned to the Indian Ocean as the flagship of the French naval forces and sent to the Horn of Africa to conduct patrol and anti-piracy missions. One of her first missions included liberating the yacht Le Ponant from Somali pirates. Later on, she joined Operation Atalanta, an initiative by the European Union to combat the rampant piracy in the Gulf of Aden and other areas, as the command vessel for the French forces. But much to everyone's surprise, Le Somme didn't have to chase after the pirates. The pirates were coming to her.
Oh, you are foolish.
It was dark on October 6, 2009, when the French Navy's flagship, on its way to resupply fuel to frigates patrolling shipping lanes, sailing about 460 kilometers off the Somali coast, suddenly found herself under attack. Rude awakening.
I bet it was.
2 lightweight skiffs, manned by pirates armed with Kalashnikovs, opened fire on the command ship and fuel tanker, mistaking it for a commercial vessel.
Right.
Obviously, and in hindsight laughably, the crew of Le Somme were more than well prepared for such a risible assault. They fended off the pirates in a blink. In the words of Admiral Christophe Prezuk, quote, "They rapidly realized that Le Somme was not behaving like a commercial ship.
Right.
She was not trying to run away,
No.
but on the contrary,
They were
Le Somme
going
was
straight
heading towards the
them.
pirates.
Right.
And so at that time, the pirates turned away and tried to escape. But French forces were hot on their trail, pursuing them for an hour until they caught one of the skiffs. On board, they found 5 pirates, but no weapons, water, or food. It seemed the pirates had thrown everything overboard in an effort to evade capture. Still, it was useless.
Nah, bro, you go to jail.
Just like the U.S.
Hopefully you go to jail in France, too.
Maritime Administration had warned, the end of the monsoon season was likely to bring an increase in piracy off Somalia. Pirates often operate in small fiberglass skiffs towed out to sea by captured fishing vessels. Calmer waters facilitate their mischief and allow them to hijack freighters, trawlers, private yachts, and even cruise vessels every now and then. The end of 2009 was a time when shipping companies had to be more vigilant than ever. But as ridiculous as it may seem, it was not the last time Le Somme would be attacked by pirates. Prosecution. On April 20th, 2010, another group of troublemakers...
Guys, so what you're trying to tell me is that they specifically kept targeting it. I mean, I get it. They're saying so at the end of monsoon season, the overall activity started, obviously increasing because obviously they can get back into the ocean, right? But why, guys? You can see the guns, bro. You can see the gigantic guns they have. Why would you still? How about listen? Let's go.
Assaulted the warship.
Let's go. I'm not trying to judge them
from
too
automatic
harshly
weapons,
yet.
but missed. Early that morning, the suspects engaged the flagship off the Somalian coast in 2 skiffs, once again deceived by her profile. And once again, their misdeeds didn't end well for the pirates, as documented in photographs from the scene. The crew on Le Somme did not take long to fire 3 warning shots.
Bro, some of them are kids.
And then set out to capture the criminals. In the pursuit, the flagship discovered what appeared to be a mothership, loaded with stocks of fuel and 2 suspected pirates on board.
Oh.
Only then did the pirates understand their grave mistake. In haste, the 2 boats fled in 2 different directions, trying to mislead the warship. But their efforts were futile. As seen in the pictures, the 2 suspects were taken into custody, and another 4 were captured from one of the skiffs after the chase. Inside the boat, weapons and grappling hooks to climb aboard the assaulted vessels were confiscated by Le Somme.
At least they got the mothership, guys.
While Le Somme
at
would
least.
sail into the waters off Somalia on a regular basis in her mission to refuel vessels involved in Operation Atalanta, her entire nation played a critical role in the overall outcome of the campaign.
Okay, guys, if it is this one right here, this one on the left, right, that could probably pass as a commercial vehicle from afar. If it's that one, if it's this one, bro, no chance. Okay, I mean, unless you're just that foolish, bro. Unless you're that, but this one right here looks like it could easily be a commercial vehicle completely.
France would aggressively pursue pirates and deliver them to justice.
But
The
where?
French Navy was determined to crack down on these criminals, with 15 suspects facing prosecution in Paris by the end of 2010 for allegedly seizing boats belonging to French nationals. While the flagship awaited orders on what to do with the 6 suspects they had just captured, the Navy was on high alert, apprehending a record-breaking 35 pirates in just 3 days the previous month. Admittedly, the refueling vessel has a less aggressive aspect than a frigate, and notably, the attacks happened in the middle of the night, when the aggressors could easily mistake her for a commercial or another civilian vessel. Still, the irony remains.
Right. I mean,
Welcome to the intriguing world of dark footage.
listen, guys. Here's the thing. Somalia has been they've had issues for a pretty long time now, guys. I understand there's excessive poverty, guys. They need to kind of figure that situation out, because if you keep continuously going after nations that are going to protect their citizens, right? It's just going to make it worse and worse and worse on you. Specifically, if any of these nations are nations that are giving you some type of like aid, if that makes any sense, guys. Right? So if you continue doing this, I'm almost going to go ahead and guess the aid's probably going to stop, bro. Which is just going to make it harder. Then obviously, then they're going to then go out and do it more. But it's just going to be more of them being decimated in the middle of the ocean in sandals, on skiffs. That's just what's going to continue to happen, bro. So what can we do about it? They need to do it themselves, I think, guys. Right? I think that's where we're at right now. They themselves need to figure out their nation. But I understand that's not as easy as you can say, specifically on the continent of Africa, guys. They've been warring with each other, unfortunately, for a really long time, guys. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly.